Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we are back. The absence of football is absolutely killing me. We're obviously a week in to our little break of the season. Playoffs are going on. We still got a little bit of Premier League, but I'm here today to give my thoughts on the season just gone, give my season review. I'm going to run down some topics such as, what I think went wrong, the highs and lows of the season, my concerns for next season and the future of the squad. So if you are interested in reading all that, make sure you watch along the whole video. Let's get involved in the comments. What you think I've missed, what you agree, what you disagree. The main thing about football is that it is all opinion based and every opinion matters. So let's keep it kind and friendly. Let's get into the video. First thing I wanted to speak about was obviously what went wrong. Obviously, Argyle got relegated from the Championship. We'll be playing next season League One football. I've narrowed it down into a few topics, into what I think could narrow it down to what went wrong over the course of the season. And the first topic I did want to speak about is Wayne Rooney, the appointment of Wayne Rooney. It was a huge risk. Every Argyle fan knew that. I knew that myself. I did make my own video on it at the start of the season when I did hear about his appointment. And it was a huge risk. I was one who was excited about the risk. I did think that, coming off his previous managerial accounts, he did have a lot to play for coming down to here to Plymouth, and I did think that I hoped it would have worked out for him. I don't think he was possibly backed by the board enough, and I don't really think he had the squad to compete in this league, which obviously didn't help. And I didn't think he was able to be versatile with changes, whether that was with injuries and suspensions, because I did think we played good football when everyone was fit and available, and we did have some happy memories, not only bad ones, with Wayne Rooney. On the topic there, but the squad, I don't think this squad was quite good enough to compete with this Championship, where you got the likes of Leeds and Burnley hitting 100 points and coming down further the table on the final day, about 5 teams battling to stay in the league. It was a very competitive league throughout, and some great players and some great teams amongst that. I think our squad wasn't quite there, wasn't able to compete. I don't think our summer transfer window was quite as good as our January one, and that shows. Obviously, we had some great signings in the winter transfer window, getting obviously Maxi on and Katic on a loan. I think it was a really good window, and I think mainly our flops don't outweigh our good players. Baidu obviously not performing to that £2 million or £1.5 million price tag he has cost Argyle, but I think our defence definitely sharpened up for that last half of the season. Did also want to speak about the Whittaker situation. I think that definitely would have caused an upset in the changing room. Obviously his drama and his story against Burnley, not showing up to the squad, whether or not it was arranged by him and the board or not, his side of the story versus Mirror Music's side of the story. I'm still not 100% sure who I believe, which side of it I believe, but I do think that definitely would have caused an upset in the changing room. But then again, we do have to thank Whittaker for everything that he had done before that for the club. Obviously, his goal against Brentford gave us that magical home tie against Liverpool. So I think that it's a very harsh one to blame him for the reason of what went wrong over the course of the season. But I think his upset in the changing room definitely would have had a factor into that bad spell of time. Next thing I did want to speak about as well is Brickfields. I think this is going to have a huge divide with fans, but I'm with part of the fans that do think the Brickfields should have been spent wisely on the first team, not on a youth facility. I do understand both sides of the story, and I do think that it is a good structure to have at a football club, to have an under-21s and under-23s and a great facility for them to develop and possibly make some good investments on. We've seen a good investment in Argyle Academy player Michael Cooper, obviously going on to Sheffield United, then battling in the playoffs as we speak. But I do think that £20 million at that current time, where we were spending it, could have been more useful to the first team. Finaz has been a great example of that, him signing for Middlesbrough and becoming a phenomenal player. If we had him down here, that magical creativity he gave for Argyle, the goals he gave, and the player that he did make Morgan Whittaker become, I think we did miss that hugely when he left, and I don't think we've really found a replacement so far. But I do understand both sides of the story. I do understand that, with this investment to Brickfields, our youth academy should become better, and we should be able to compete more with the youth leagues and eventually make some good investment players that could hopefully break through to the first team. But my argument is that for £20 million, we could have signed 3 or 4 great quality players, which would have then hopefully or possibly kept us in the league. The last thing I wanted to speak about on the topic of what went wrong was the board, and I think me and a lot of Argyle fans will be in agreement that we think the board has not been up to standard, which they have been over the course of the last few seasons. I think they haven't backed either manager Wayne Rooney or Miro Music enough, and I think we're starting to see that with Miro Music coming out in a press conference challenging and calling out the board, saying that he needs answers to questions he's asked before he decides his future at the club. It's refreshing, and it's nice to see a manager which isn't afraid to call out a board and want his own answers and get everything he wants. Simon Hallett has also said about investment and investors that are coming in, which we are still yet to see, which were meant to come in by December for the December window. So it's very disappointing. I think the board definitely have got a lot of answers they need to give to us fans, and certainly Miro Music if we want to keep him for next season. The next topic I did want to speak about is Argyle's rise to media attention. Over the course of this video, it's not going to all be doom and gloom. It's going to be some good things, along with some bad things, because obviously a relegation season isn't all sunshine. But I wanted to speak about Argyle's rise to media attention. The first topic I did want to speak about on that is Wayne Rooney. I think we have got to thank him for a lot of our media attention. I do think the appointment of Wayne Rooney was a media stunt. I'm not going to believe that the board is saying that he was the best candidate for the job at the time. I think that is a lie, and I think it definitely was a media stunt. If you look at his role in football itself, you know, a big household name in English football, Manchester United legend, England legend, certainly would have brought some media and definitely a lot of game coverage over down to the southwest. Obviously it's quite of a small quiet side of England, comparing it up to Birmingham, Midlands area and London and up further on. So I do think that Wayne Rooney did bring a lot of media attention to Plymouth. But Wayne Rooney wasn't the only one bringing us some media attention. Our FA Cup run this year, being named as the Giant Killers, beating 2 Premier League sides and eventually losing to Manchester City, brought us a lot of media coverage through the TV, you know, and winning that money from progressing through the rounds of the cup, you know, going to Brentford, beating them 1-0, then beating Liverpool at home, the Premier League champions, 1-0, and eventually losing to Man City. Three great days out for us Argyle fans, and I think we can't thank Miro Music and the players enough to give us that opportunity to go to the Etihad and say that we've beat Liverpool at our backyard. Also did want to say the FA Cup didn't only bring Argyle media attention, it also brought me attention, so I cannot thank every single one of you enough that's gave me a view, a like, a comment, a subscribe. You know, anyone that's come up to me in the past and said they like my videos, I do appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for the support you've given me and the platform that you've given me. But I did want to speak about lastly on the rise to media attention was Miro Music. His first speech to the players that was put out to the Argyle fans was very moving and very powerful, and it was phrased a lot that people would run through brick walls for him, not only Argyle fans but other fan bases as well. It's very powerful, it's very moving, and it was very exciting to see. And it was certainly feedback to a video as an Argyle fan I haven't seen before. I did want to speak about was the future of the squad, and this also contains the retain list, my thoughts on it. Obviously, it being the off-season, the transfer window will be soon upon us. We're going to see some players leave, we're going to hopefully see some players come in. But I did want to speak about the retain list first and my thoughts on it. The release were Will Jenkins-Davies, Josh Bernard, Ben Waine and Saxon Early. I think it's no surprise we're going to see the release of Saxon Early. It was too injury prone. I do wish all of these players as well the best of luck in their future careers. Ben Waine just couldn't hit the ground running, wasn't really an on-form striker, so hopefully he can find his level in another league. Josh Bernard, we never really seen a lot of. Hopefully he can find himself a team and get himself some first team football. And Will Jenkins-Davies, whether or not he'll go back to Torquay, you know, I've got a few friends that are Torquay fans, and them saying that he was hell of a player for him, so hopefully he can go and sign on for Torquay. The players that was offered a contract, Jordan Houghton, Mustafa Bundu and Jack Matthews. I think Bundu's a must-have. I think he definitely just give him what he wants. Give him a piece of paper and tell him to put what he wants and make sure that he signs it. I think he'll be crucial for us to have next season. Jordan Houghton, Mr. Consistent. I think again he's another important player for us to have in League One. I think he was very vital in our promotion or our title winning season. I'll be quite sad to see him go. And again with Jack Matthews, a bit like Josh Bernard, I haven't really seen him play as such. But again, hope he does sign the contract. And we got some players under contract as well. I think we're going to struggle to keep a few of these players that are under contract. Ryan Harvey, with the talks of him going Wrexham, is going to be a struggle to keep hold of him. Maxi, with that release clause that he's got, I think he's a phenomenal, absolute rock centre half. I think he's definitely going to be too good for League One, and we'll be very lucky if no one snaps him up. Connor Hazard, I think he had a phenomenal season. I think he's grown so much as a goalkeeper since we signed him, and I think he definitely is Championship quality, not League One. And also think Bali Mumba's definitely not League One quality. He's definitely certainly too good for the league that we're going to be in, and I'll be very surprised if a Championship team doesn't snap him up. The lonely players that we had over the course of this season, whether or not I think we're going to keep or they're going to move on. Michael Opafemi, I don't think we should re-sign him. I don't think as a striker he done enough. I think he had spells of opportunity and promise, but over the course of the season I was not impressed. Darko JB, what a phenomenal player. I think he's definitely going to be too good to come back to Argyle, and I do hope him all the best in his future. Nikola Katic, the absolute rock. Whether or not we're going to keep him, I think we're certainly not going to be able to get him again. I think it's going to be near on impossible for him to come down to League One. Mohamed Tajani, when fit, come towards the end of the season, it was sort of good cop, bad cop with him, and he sort of come out good in the end. But I think over the course of the season, he didn't really offer enough for me to miss him too much. And the last one is Pukac. I'm not going to try to pronounce his first name, but he did have a loan to buy, but I'm pretty sure Argyle being relegated has terminated that. So again, I do wish all these players the best of luck in their futures, but let's just say I certainly won't miss a couple of them. The player and young player of the season, obviously the player of the season was given to Ryan Harvey, and the young player of the season was given to Darko JB, the loanee. I think the other candidates that I probably wouldn't have minded seeing the player of the season would have been Pleggy, Bundu and possibly Hazard. I heard a few people say Randall, but I think Randall was a little bit too inconsistent for me. Pleguezuelo was absolutely solid when he did play. Bundu again for his efforts in the second half of the season, and Hazard for being most improved, I think, over the course of the 2 seasons that we've had him. Darko JB getting the young player of the season. There's a few other candidates, but I don't think anyone's on the calibre of Darko JB. It's Azaka Roberts. There's not really much to debate. Azaka and Roberts have been sort of fringe players. They've had a few games here and there, but not as much as Darko JB, so I think it is fair that he has got the award. Nextly, I wanted to speak about my concerns for next season, and I think there's definitely going to be some here that a lot of Argyle fans are going to agree with. I think the first person we're all worried about leaving next season is Miron Music. I think the chances of us going back up or being in and amongst it are going to be very high with Miron Music, and he sort of left us on a cliffhanger for the end of the season, not giving us a direct yes or no to whether he will be here next season. And I think I don't think we can argue too much if he does go. I think that the setup that he has come into is probably not what he expected, and he probably expected a better, well-shaped football club to come in and head coach from, but he's had his work cut out, let's just say that. One thing I am definitely worried for next season is becoming a club that is rotting in League One. I think now that we've tasted Championship football and we've been in and amongst it, I think we certainly need to be getting back up there as soon as possible. I certainly don't want to become a yo-yo team from the Championship to League One. I certainly don't want to ever go down to League Two again, as we have seen in the past before. But I do think if Miron Music departs and we get a manager which isn't on that same calibre, we could just see ourselves as a bog standard League One team for the next foreseeable future. Last thing I did want to speak about is the squad depth. That is quite a worry for me for next season. I think we definitely need some investment, and we definitely need some players in. Whether or not we're going to keep as much as the squad as we can, obviously we don't know what players are going to get nabbed by other teams and what money we're going to get for them, if we're going to get anything. But I certainly think we need to put our hands in our pockets and spend some money on players. You know, if we look at the League One from last season, Wrexham and Birmingham being the promoted 2 sides for automatic promotion, the amount of money they've spent, I'm not saying we need to be on the same calibre as them, but I'm saying we definitely need to put our hands in our pockets. I think this is now the new modern football, is where, you know, it's sort of pay to win in a certain way. You need to have a little bit of money to give yourself the upper advantage and get yourself the best squad available to have the best chances of going up or staying up in a league. This isn't just for League One I'm speaking about, but I do certainly think with this league coming into next year, we definitely need a bit of squad depth, and we definitely need some quality players coming in this summer. Next thing I did want to speak about is the highs and lows of the season. I think we've had a few highs and lows, and I'm going to try compare the two to each other, see what more we've got, whether it's the lows or the highs. Start with the lows, and I'm going to read it off of here. I think the lows we've got here is the 4-0 away defeat to Sheffield Wednesday on the opening day, the 5-0 away defeat to Cardiff City, the 6-1 away defeat to Norwich City, and the Bristol City away defeat 4-0 in the space of 4 days. So that's 10 goals conceded in 4 days. Coventry away 4-0 on Boxing Day, and the Burnley home 5-0 deficit at half-time. And obviously relegation is a low. Then we've got the highs of the season. I think hopefully this will put a few smiles on the viewers' faces. We've got the FA Cup run, beating Brentford and Liverpool and then losing to Man City. We've also got the first time in February where all season we went 3 games winning consecutively. West Brom at home 2-1, Liverpool at home 1-0, and Millwall at home 5-1. We've got doing the double over Portsmouth, 1-0 at home and 2-1 away. The Dockyard is ours. And we've also got the fight that we had. Obviously over the course of the season we was in and amongst it. We was at times down and buried, but we weren't really considered relegated officially or all season, not until the last game or last 2 games anyways, due to the goal difference. So it shows the fighting character that Plymouth Argyle had over the course of the whole season. Now, out of the highs and lows, I don't know which you want to consider overweighs each other, but I'm going to keep it positive. I'm going to say for me, I think we definitely had a lot of great highs over the course of the season. So leave down below your best part of the season, whether it was your best game, best moment, and you know, let's get some down there. Let's see if I've missed any. And I thought I'd end the video with a bit of lightheartedness. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you comment below anything you think I've missed, and let's have a discussion. You know, anything you think I've messed up on, or anything you would have added, let's get it commented and let's have a little discussion. But we're going to end the video on the favourite and least favourite game of the season. Now everyone can get involved in this. Comment below your favourite and least favourite game of the season. Favourites, I'm split between a couple here, either between Liverpool at home, Sunderland at home, Brentford away, or Preston away. And you might be confused on why I've put Preston away there, but it was just a great atmosphere. Obviously Argyle won the game away from season, not many things we've seen all season, and you know, it was as if we had no pressure because of obviously the Luton score on that early kickoff. And the least favourite, and I think it'll be the same for everyone, I think the Burnley home game was the least favourite game of the season. Guys, that is the end of the video there. Comment down below anything you think I've missed or anything you would have liked to add into the video. My Instagram is in the description below. I'm going to be putting polls up over the course of the summer during the off season to get some video ideas from you, anything you'd like me to see, or if you don't see that on my story, message me anything you'd like me to do, or alternatively comment it. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your week and a lovely break from football, and I'll see you soon. Come on, you Greens.